Hey, what's up, world, and welcome to the second edition, the second episode of the Take One podcast. And yes, I said this is the second episode. If you haven't heard the first episode, I recommend you go check it out. It's on my YouTube channel, Take One Entertainment Reviews. It's actually, you can search it on YouTube, or you can go down in the description below of this video, which it shouldn't be too far away, because if you're listening to this, it's a part of my YouTube channel. And I kind of explain how this kind of goes on that this isn't just a one category type podcast. I'm going to be talking about different things. It's just the first episode and this episode just have a lot to do with movies and movie news and whatever I have to talk about. And these are just things that I want to talk about. Later in the episodes, I'm going to get to branching off with different things, shows, wrestling, music, whatever I feel like talking about. But mainly it's going to be orientated around movies or whatever. And I'm trying to be diverse with it. But with this second episode, since I'm kind of late, I wanted to get this out a little bit earlier, closer to the time that I did my first episode. Oh, excuse me. Within that time, a lot of movie news and, stuff that came out about just different movies and stuff like that. And so I just want to grab hold of it and talk about that right now. It's going to be lengthy. I'm not trying to make it an hour or even over an hour. I'm going to try and keep it around 45 minutes if I can. If not, then whatever I don't talk about is going to be on another episode. So that's just how this is going to go. And without further ado, let me continue on with this podcast. And the first subject that I want to talk about is the Assassin's Creed trailer, the Assassin's Creed movie trailer. It dropped like a few days ago, and so I just wanted to get my quick thoughts on it. I'm not a big gamer. I'm not at all. It's not that I don't like gaming. It's not that I don't like gaming. It's just that it's not something that I'm really passionate about like other guys or other people or whatever. And I've played Assassin's Creed maybe I'll say twice. So it's like I know a little bit about the feel and tone of the game, I guess you could say. I'm not a big fan of it. So, going into, I don't have really too much to expect from it. So with me not being a fan of the game or just not knowing anything really too much about the game, I just got to look at this as like a movie. Is it going to be a good movie? And so when the trailer dropped, I liked it. I really did. It wasn't like something that just blew me away. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to go see this. But it's something that's like, yo, this looks really good. Even from just the fighting scenes in the trailer, just the digital effects, the green screen, and everything that's used in it looks pretty damn good. And I'm really wanting to see it. It upped my anticipation on seeing it. Plus it has Michael Fassbender in it, and he's a great actor. So I want to see what he has to offer to this movie. And this movie amongst Minecraft, boy, oh my gosh, I'm just messing up. Don't eat me up. Warcraft are like video game adaptations, and so people are looking at these two movies, Assassin's Creed and Warcraft, as being like, I guess you could say, the saviors of the video game adaptation movies, or however you want to call it, video game movies, because all the movies that we've had before that's been adapted from a video game have either been bad or good. Nothing great, nothing that stands out amongst people's minds, and they be like, yo, this is a great movie. And there has been successful ones. I would say just the Resident Evil franchise, but those movies kind of fell off. The first Resident Evil movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm not going to get too much into it, but it had a lot going for it. And so after that, it just kind of fell off. And so hopefully Assassin's Creed and maybe even Warcraft, but I'm leaning towards more Assassin's Creed being that movie that kind of catapults the whole thing of, oh, this is a movie adapted from a video game, and it can actually be good. It can actually do numbers, and people can go to see this multiple times in theaters and tell their friends, and it's actually a really, really good movie. So I mean, I hope that, like, I don't hope that a movie does bad. So it's like, from the trailer, I hope the trailer isn't misleading. I hope what you see in the trailer, I hope that's what I get from the movie. That it has the same tone. It has, maybe bits of humor up in it, and that I end up walking out of the theater enjoying the movie more than what I expect to get from it right now at this moment. So, yeah, but overall, I love the trailer. They could have used different music using Kanye's song. I mean, they could have did something else. Like, to me, it just kind of threw the trailer off just a tad bit. Like, it didn't fit it. I guess in the way they were trying to say something with the Kanye West song, I Am a God, just with the technology and what they're doing in the movie and the storyline. I guess, it tells a story, or it kind of relates in some way or another. But yeah, they could have used another song, and it would have had probably the same effect or a better effect from the commercial or the trailer or whatever. But yeah, and just the last shot when Michael Fassbender is jumping off of the tall building, that was badass. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this movie. And as I move on, I want to talk about real quickly about the Avengers Infinity War name change. Now, it was said last week that Joe Russo came out and said that the Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2 are both getting a name change, being that it was misleading, because Part 1 and Part 2, people going to get from that it was one movie just broke into two halves, similar to Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2, and The Hunger Games, the Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2. And they said that it's not following that. These are two separate movies that are going to be its own movie. So essentially, we're going to get... It's basically going to be 4 Avengers movies. That the first part, or whatever it's going to be called, but for right now, the first part is going to be its own movie. It's going to have a beginning and an end, and maybe like a hint, just like the other movies, as to the next movie. And so, unlike Part 1 and 2, we don't have to wait that long to see the next movie, because it's going to come out fairly a year from the time that we see Infinity War Part 1. So, I mean, and that's pretty cool, because the Avengers movies have been good. The Avengers, the first one, is one of my favorite movies of all time. The second one, it was good. I really enjoyed it. It was very entertaining, though it wasn't what I myself and what a lot of people thought it was going to be. So, excuse me. And so it's just, I hope that this movie is good. But the name change, I wonder what they're going to do. I don't think they're going to do anything too drastic. It's still going to be more than likely called Infinity War. But it might be Avengers Infinity War Part 1, such and such. And then the second one, Part 2, is going to be the Avengers Infinity War Part 2, such and such. Or it just might be Infinity War something, whatever. Or they might change it all together. I don't know. But for right now, all we know is that both of them are going to get a name change. And that more than likely it's going to happen before the end of the year. We're going to get to know what they're going to call it, or at least a sense of a name that they might have for it, or both of them, or whatever. But I'm all for it. I mean, it's kind of cool to know that we're going to get 2 Avengers movies a year apart from each other. And it's exciting, because right now, after seeing Civil War and knowing that the same guys that did Civil War are doing Infinity War Part 1 and 2, it gets me excited, because I enjoyed Civil War. Civil War is a great movie. Of course, it has a problem, but it was a great movie. And the same guys that did Captain America Winter Soldier, which was also a great movie. One of my top 3 favorite Marvel films in the MCU of all time. And I'm just excited to see what these guys have to do with just the story, the action, and everything that they get to put together for it. Because these are going to be costly movies. It's going to be very expensive. Both of these movies combined are going to cost $1 billion. And that's just the cost of the movies. Each movie is going to be $500 million. And that's crazy. But hopefully we get great movies out of these. And it ends off with a great finale. So I just can't wait for the name change. And moving on. And also, in related news, as far as Infinity War, you have like, basically, I imagine that there's going to be a lot of Avengers and other characters in there. Because you have to have, you've set these characters up throughout all these movies, through Iron Man, Captain America, the Avengers, all the side characters, the sidekicks and whatever. And you have to have them. You know, if you haven't killed them off, you have to have them in Infinity War. So I imagine that everyone that's a hero all the way up to this point is going to be in Infinity War. You know, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Iron Man, Captain America, Winter Soldier, all that. All of them are going to be in Infinity War. But, I mean, they came out the woodwork and, well, they came and said that, you know, certain people are going to be in Infinity War. Which recently they said Doctor Strange is going to be in Infinity War. Which, you know, of course, you know, we come to expect this. So when you hear it, it's like, yeah, we kind of already knew. As well as, like, Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord, and it's like, yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy movie has a lot to do with Thanos. So it only makes sense to have the Guardians kind of in the Avengers, because that's what the Avengers and all the solo movies are leading up to, a big fight with Thanos. And you have in the Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, I guess their main enemy is Thanos, or, you know, whatever. So it's like, it's only right to have the Guardians in there as well, because I remember a report saying at first that they wasn't going to be in the Avengers movie. And it's like, why not? You know, you have Thanos actually speaking and, you know, having a bigger role than he did in any of the other movies that Marvel has put out. So why wouldn't you have the Guardians in the Avengers movie, like battling Thanos alongside the Avengers and all the other heroes? So it only makes sense. Thor is going to be in there, the Hulk, Iron Man, you know, everybody. So, I mean, all this news isn't really too big, but I believe the Russo brothers did accidentally make it slip. I forget whether it was the Russo brothers or Kevin Feige. You know what? It was the Russo brothers. Let it slip that Captain Marvel was going to be in there. And like I said, you know, it's not a big shocker. You know, you got to have as many people up in there as possible, especially people that you've already set up in other films that are still alive. Like, why wouldn't they help out? So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to that and seeing what they do with all these characters, because how they set up Civil War and how they handled all the characters was really cool. So I'm anxious to see how they're going to do this. Are they going to split certain characters up in the first film as opposed to the second film, or are they going, you know, I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of thought process that will hurt your head. But yeah, I just can't wait to see this. I'm very excited. And next, another Marvel film, not an MCU, but a Marvel film, Fox Marvel. Wolverine, the last Wolverine movie, the third Wolverine movie in the trilogy of the X-Men spinoffs. Wolverine 3 is going to get a R rating. Well, it's a R-rated movie that they've already agreed to. And more than likely, I mean, you can kind of guess it was because due to the success of Deadpool that Wolverine is getting this. And when you think of Wolverine, you think R rating. You know, I mean, he can do good in a PG-13 movie, which, you know, he did, like X-Men Origins. That was that. And then you have the Wolverine, which is the second one, and that movie was good. It wasn't what I was expecting. You know, I thought it was going to be better, but, you know, it was okay. And so this movie, I hope they go all out, because this is Hugh Jackman's last run at Wolverine, which I would love to see Deadpool make an appearance in this movie and have at least one fight scene where Wolverine and Deadpool are going side by side and fighting, and I don't know, just have that. Since it is an R-rated film, it will most likely fit within that. So I just can't wait to see it, and I'm glad that they gave it a R rating, because like I said, when you think of Wolverine, he has claws. So when he kills people, which he does, you're gonna see blood, you're gonna see gore. So, and also it was said that it's gonna take place in the future. So yeah, I guess you could say it kind of hints at the whole Old Man Logan thing, which they said that they were going to take bits and pieces from it. I mean, of course you can't take the whole story, because I believe it has Hawkeye and the Hulk up in it, and I believe a few other characters that belong to Marvel as Marvel Studios in the MCU that they can't use. So they have to take elements from it and make it work to a cinematic version of that storyline that's in the comic books. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to see this R-rated Wolverine movie. I'm ready to see how it all ends with this character. Is he gonna die? Is he gonna whatever? I mean, this is his last time being Wolverine, so they gotta make it good. They gotta make it great, as a great send-off to Hugh Jackman being being Wolverine for like 16, 17 years now. So yeah, they have to make it good. They really do. As well as other related news to the Wolverine movie. As we all know, I mean, it's been hinted before, it's been said, rumored, whatever, but we all knew that Professor X was going to be in the movie, and it was confirmed recently that Patrick Stewart is going to be in the Wolverine, and it's basically going to be like I guess you could say companionship, or just building on their relationship that they had in Days of Future Past all the way into this movie, and showing just the chemistry between the two characters. And it's just, to me, in a sense, it don't sound too interesting, because Professor X, I mean, he's a decent character. I never found him to be very interesting. He's not a guy that you can put him in his own movie, he'd be good. Especially, the Patrick Stewart version. Not the James McAvoy version, but the Patrick Stewart version. He was just Professor X. And there's nothing taken away from the character or the actor that plays him. It was just, whatever. So, hopefully they do it justice. Hopefully he has a significant role within the movie, which he more than likely is going to have. And hopefully it ends up being good. Hopefully that relationship bleeds out onto the screen, and it actually is entertaining. So yeah, and I'm curious to see what other people they might end up throwing in there, what other villains or whatnot. But yeah, and moving on, so Kevin Feige came out and said that it's basically a real possibility that they're very much wanting to do a Black Widow solo film. And all I have to say to that is that it sounds very interesting. Throughout the years, Black Widow is one of them characters, one of them side characters that didn't shown up in multiple films and not have her own film. She made her first debut in Iron Man 2. Then, she was in both Avengers movies. She was in Winter Soldier and Civil War. So to date, she's been in 5 movies already and haven't had her own movie. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna do this, and I can't wait. I mean, it sounds very interesting. I've always wanted to see a Black Widow movie, and they said that it wasn't gonna happen, blah blah blah. And I thought that they can make it happen. If not just a Black Widow solo movie or a Hawkeye solo film, why don't they just make a movie with them combined? Make a Shield movie or whatever, and you have Black Widow, Hawkeye, Nick Fury, Agent Maria, I believe that's her name or whatever, Agent 13, or you have different agents, and then they're tackling a threat or something like that. And I feel like that will be an amazing movie, because you can build it as of course, it's going to be like a spy movie. It's going to have espionage. It's going to have all this stuff up in it, and you can do a lot with that. You can tell a great story with that, and then at the same time, you can kind of get into the backstory of Black Widow and Hawkeye, because I was so curious into how they became friends, how they be like their first mission, like how they got so close, because Black Widow is the godmother of one of his children or whatever. So it's like I'm very curious to see how that relationship grew as them being Asians and becoming best friends or whatever. And I feel like that would have been very interesting. So with them coming out and saying that it's going to be it's more than likely going to be a Black Widow solo movie. It's more than likely going to be one of the unnamed MCU movies that's going to come out within the next 3 to 4 or 5 years or whatnot. And I can't wait to see it. You know, I hope they have Hawkeye in it. I hope they have Nick Fury, because they don't have to have big names. They don't have to have Iron Man. They don't have to have Captain America, because those characters are bigger than them. So if you have a Captain America in there, or a Thor, or whoever, they're going to basically kind of outshine them, because people are going to want to see Captain America, especially after this movie. They're going to want to see Iron Man, especially after, Civil War. They're going to want to see these characters. So it's best to keep it low budget. And then when I say low budget, I mean like you can make a spy film with like a Black Widow solo film, maybe with Hawkeye, Nick Fury and all that stuff, for under $100 million. You can do a Deadpool type numbers where it's like 58 to 80 something million, whatever. You can do those numbers and make a great movie. You don't have to have all the special effects. Black Widow doesn't have power. Hawkeye doesn't have power. Nick Fury doesn't have power. They're just agents. They're really good agents. So you can tell a great movie, have great action scenes, have great stunts, all that stuff. You can have that in the movie and have an incredible movie that will make a great addition to the MCU. And I hope they end up confirming that this movie is happening, because if it is, that's going to be one of the movies that's going to be on my radar to go see whenever they put it out. But it's not going to be anytime soon, so yeah, we'll just have to wait for that. Moving on to Batman v Superman. Well, put it in other words, Batman v Superman's effect on Civil War's box office results. Now, everyone knows the difference, or just how Batman v Superman was as compared to Civil War. Batman v Superman is a movie that it's the first time that these characters are together. Just like the Avengers. The Avengers, this is like in their first movie, this is the first time we've seen these characters together. Iron Man, the Hulk, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Captain America, Thor. This is the first time you've seen these characters together, and it worked out perfectly. So they needed to catch that in the bottle they needed to catch lightning in a bottle with this Batman v Superman movie, because not only do you have the two title characters, Batman and Superman, but you had Wonder Woman in there. And so it's like you have basically what's DC's holy trinity. You gotta make this good, and the movie just wasn't what it was supposed to be. That movie should have been great, and that movie was just fine. I enjoyed it, not that much though. It had crazy amounts of problems that cannot be overlooked. But as far as Civil War was a great movie. It's a fantastic movie. Of course, it had problems, but at the same time, the story kind of worked for it, and that was like one of the big issues, or it had whatever. I enjoyed it. The movie, I loved it. I've seen it several times now. The action scenes are just incredible, and I'm not gonna keep getting into it, but just overall, Civil War was a way better movie than Batman v Superman, and that's not because I'm anti-DC. It's just that I'm pro DC. I'm pro Marvel. Anytime I love Man of Steel. I know it has a lot of problems. I love that movie. But Batman v Superman just wasn't good. It was it was good to me. It just overall, it just had a lot of problems. And with that, a lot of people, as far as fanboys and fangirls, excuse me, they, you got people that's anti DC, anti Marvel, that's, just praying that DC falls, or praying that Marvel falls. But the thing is that people don't realize is that one movie affects the other movie, because whether or not you want to just like, oh, you can't compare them because they're two different tones, which is cool and all, but you forget they are both superhero movies. DC and Marvel are both the juggernauts when it comes to comic books and movies and shows, as far as just adapting from being a comic book. Excuse me. Sorry for that. So you're going to have to compare them. You're going to have to, which it really ain't it's not really too much of a fair comparison, only because Marvel are like 12 movies in compared to DC's 2 movies in. So it's like, in a sense, it's kind of an unfair advantage for DC to be compared to Marvel. But at the same time, when you are talking movies, especially superhero movies, you're going to bring them you're going to compare them. And it's not right or wrong. It's, you're going to compare them because they're superhero movies. And so with that, it's like Marvel is banking on DC doing good, as well as DC banking on Marvel to do good, for the simple fact that if DC do good and their movie comes out before Marvel, it's going to get people excited to see a Marvel film. Especially people like myself who don't care about, people that just, all about one company. I'm for both of them. I'm for seeing a great movie with these characters I enjoy. I want to see that. So if I see one movie and it's good, it's going to only pump me to see this next movie. And so, seeing that, I believe that Batman v Superman, with it doing not as good as they wanted it to do, it kind of affected Civil War's results. Not too much. Because Civil War did 181 its first weekend, which is nothing to frown about, nothing to be mad about. Those are crazy numbers. It's, a lot of movies want to make that money their whole theatrical run. So for them to make it in one weekend is like really good. But at the same time, you got people that seen Batman v Superman and was just disappointed. Didn't want to, they was just like, okay, these 2 movies have the same premise. You got 2 superheroes facing each other. You got Batman v Superman, and you got Iron Man v Captain America. So when you have such a premise kind of being close together, it's like, it's going to get people to think like, okay, this movie was bad and it was 2 heroes against each other. I don't think that movie is going to work out. And so it kind of affected. You got people that are like that, that didn't want to see Civil War because Batman v Superman did so bad. Even with the positive word of mouth, you got critics coming out saying this movie is so good, the action and blah blah blah. And Civil War is on, I'm talking about, saying that this movie is so good. But even with that, it didn't kind of like help it a little. It didn't really help it too much, because if you've seen the movie, this movie should have made 200 million, or even just a little bit over 200 million its first weekend at the box office. It should have, because the movie was that damn good. But I guess because people were kind of like eating sour grapes after seeing Batman v Superman, they didn't want to waste their money on this. But in saying that, I'm saying this. Even though, in a sense, Batman v Superman kind of like, I guess you could say, yeah, it did affect Civil War. Not that much though. Because Civil War at this point, in its second weekend, about to be going on its third weekend, is already worldwide made more money. Gosh, what am I doing? Made more money than Batman v Superman at the end of its theatrical run, and all the money that it made. Batman v Superman at the box office holds 869 million. Okay. Right now, Civil War on its second weekend worldwide is held at a 957 million. And that's his second weekend. Still at number one. Batman v Superman it didn't have that. It really didn't. And though it did maybe affect the beginning numbers of Civil War, after that, after people then saw it and it's word of mouth and all this good stuff started coming out about it, I imagine people went to go see it the next weekend because their second weekend numbers were bigger than Batman v Superman's. And so if they're already at 900 million, by this weekend, they're going to be at $1 billion. This is going to be $1 billion movie, which kind of like, it's not surprising, but it kind of is, because I've talked with like several people on this, and like everybody kind of came out with the same conclusion, and we're all wrong. That Batman v Superman was going to be $1 billion movie, but it was going to be bad critically, and that Civil War was going to be good critically, but it's not going to make the money that Batman v Superman made, which we were wrong. I mean, in the sense of the money aspect, Batman v Superman, yeah, it didn't make the money. It's not going to be $1 billion movie as far as this theatrical run. But Captain America Civil War is on its way to doing that. If not by the end of this weekend, by the next weekend after that, it's going to make its money. It's going to do that. Before it's in, it's going to be $1 billion movie, and it's well deserved. And I'm just happy to say that, because now it's like, even though Batman v Superman didn't do good, Civil War did excellent, which is going to get people to go and go see X-Men. And if X-Men do good, it don't have to make $1 billion. If that do good, it's going to get people to want to see Suicide Squad. If Suicide Squad do good, it's going to get people wanting to see Doctor Strange. And the cycle is just going to keep going on. And I just hope that DC can constantly make good movies, because as long as these movies do good, the superhero genre will not end. And for a person like me, I'm not getting superhero fatigue. I want to see all these movies. If I can see all these movies in one weekend, I want to, because I enjoy these movies. These are my favorite type of movies as far as right now, right next to horror films, which have been disappointing me lately. So yeah, Batman v Superman has affected Marvel's Civil War. I guess I'll call it that, because that's basically what it was. An Avengers, or just a regular Marvel movie. It wasn't a Captain America movie. And but not that much, you know. After the first weekend, people realized that this is a great movie, and they went out to go see it, and now it's doing its numbers and what it was supposed to do. So I'm happy for that. Moving on to the next one. So speaking of Batman v Superman, there was or just speaking of DC, whatever, there was a deleted scene from Batman v Superman, right? I believe the same week or the week after, the weekend after, about it was like a 40-something second scene with Lex Luthor in Zod's ship in some water. It looked like blood, but he was standing before a alien creature that was holding these cubes, which, you know, later I learned that they were called mother boxes, which is the thing that created Cyborg or made him, you know, who he is or who's going to become. And the person, I found out who that was, because I'm not too familiar with Darkseid and all this stuff. I mean, I am familiar with Darkseid, but just different characters. And that character name was Stephenwolf. I believe I'm saying it right. If I'm not, whatever. But anyway, so I don't know too much about Stephenwolf. I guess he's like Darkseid's uncle or whatever. I don't know what his powers is, what he's capable of, but the rumor is that Justice League Part 1, the villain for that isn't going to be Darkseid, nor a bad Superman. Did I just spoil the movie? I don't care. The movie, whatever. If you see the movie, you don't care. But spoiler alert, yeah. So it was like, it's not going to be Darkseid. It's not going to be a bad Superman. But it's going to be Stephenwolf. So I'm curious to know what type of villain is he? Like, how powerful is he to be a threat to the Justice League? To have them form together to face this enemy? Because, it's just, it's weird that, we're waiting on Darkseid, we're waiting on this, but yet, Stephenwolf, okay. But it's just rumor, it's not confirmed. So I'm curious to see, is this true? Because if it is, they might as well just release it. They might as well just say it. Just like they tried to hold back, Darkseid, this is, whatever, and tried to keep that a secret. They might as well just say it because there's already a rumor out. I mean, it was rumors, or, not even just rumors, but speculation that Doomsday was the villain in Batman v Superman, but this is a totally different thing. They might as well just let it out the bag. Just say that Stephenwolf is the villain, and Darkseid is going to be teased at the end, but he's going to be in Justice League Part 2, which I'll be okay with that. As long as it's a great movie, and like I said, a great movie, it has to be better than good. It really does. Because if Suicide Squad is just good, Wonder Woman is just good, Justice League being like a combination of all the Justice League members that we haven't seen in a movie together except for like 3 of them, it has to be great. It has to be an Avengers movie for DC. It has to be that. But I was just surprised when I heard that, it's rumored that he might end up just being a villain or whatever in Part 1. But I'm curious. I mean, I don't have no problem with that at all. I really don't. Darkseid can wait to Part 2, and hopefully that be a great movie. Okay, and so the next thing I want to talk about is the Power Rangers movie. And last week it was revealed their new suits. And I don't know. I'm kind of, I ain't going to say indifferent. I feel they're okay. The thing is, it's like it was a concept art being drawn. It wasn't like a real picture. So we don't get like a real sense of how it looks in live, in real time. It wasn't no like still pics or nothing like that. But it kind of is reminiscent of Iron Man, the Iron Man suit or whatever. And I get that, that's what's in. Iron Man is a part of the MCU, which are like the biggest grossing movies throughout, our decade, ever since it started with Iron Man all the way to now. They're like the highest grossing movies. And just all of them combined is, over $10 billion. Combined, $10 billion as of today. But, just going back to Power Rangers. So you want to capitalize on, just, I guess, the look. Because Iron Man is a popular character. He's basically just the face of the MCU. Right next to, Captain America. But, essentially, when you think of the MCU, you think of Iron Man. And so how his suit looks, it's like, it's kind of cool. So I guess going for that look kind of fits it. I guess it's more modern than what they had. You're not about to have them wear spandex. Like that's totally out of the question. Especially with sparks flying out of the spandex. Now, don't get me wrong. I was a huge fan of Power Rangers when it came out. And it wasn't just Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the first one. I'll say the first 3 Power Rangers I was a big fan of. And, it was cheesy, very cheesy. And just, it was whatever. But, this, I guess, is their way of trying to modernize it. And make it look cool, make the suits look cool. Because, there are ways that they could do it to make it not reminiscent of Iron Man. But I'm just, it's just, they look okay. I'm not blown away by them. I'm not, just really shocked that, oh my God, these suits are amazing and blah, blah, blah. But I want to see how they look on the real person. I want to see how they look in like a picture or a video clip or, just when the trailer hits. Well, when the trailer finally hits, I want to see how it looks because looking at it from a concept art, it's whatever. But, they can always make changes as they're building the suits for the actors to wear or, the stunt people to wear. And I just want to see how it looks through that because this concept art, it don't really do anything for me. It don't tickle my fancy like I think they, wanted it to. Like, a lot of people didn't like it because it's reminiscent of the Iron Man outfit, but you know, that's what they came up with. Like, what can you say? I mean, they can always do something different, but I mean, as long as it looks right, like I said, in pictures or in the trailer, I have no problem with it, because people can shit on it right now, but then when the trailer hits and it looks like fucking awesome, they're gonna be like, oh my god, I love it, this and that. So people's first initial thoughts are kind of different from like the thoughts of whatever when something is revealed. They might think this way about a character or something about a movie, but then when you actually see the trailer or when you actually see the movie, your mind change because of how it looks on camera and all that stuff. So this is just one of them like concepts. And then next, I am moving on to Black Panther. One of the best parts of Captain America Civil War, which a lot of people can basically agree with, because the actor was incredible. Chadwick Boseman did an excellent job. The suit looked incredible. I love the suit of Black Panther. I love the character and how he fought, and it was crazy. So with that, we already knew that there were going to be a Black Panther movie in 2018. I believe it was in 2017, which is next year, but because they had to rearrange some stuff for Spider-Man and all this stuff, that they kind of pushed it back. But whatever, the same, as long as they do a good job. And so it was put out that they're going to stick basically really closely to the comic book as far as the story and all this stuff. I mean, certain stuff has changed, like Eustace Claw and how he lost his arm, T'Challa, how his father died. Certain things are different. Of course, they're going to change it to fit the MCU, the cinematic version of this character and his story. But essentially, I believe that they're going to stay as close to the comic story as possible with just a few changes. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't know too much about Black Panther. I know he's from, Wakanda, and he's the king, and the Black Panther just mantle is passed down from generation to generation, and, just different things about him. But I don't know too much about him. His enemies besides Eustace Claw or whatnot. But, as far as sticking close to it, 90% of the cast for Black Panther are going to be African American, which I have no problem with that. I'm African American myself, so, whatever. But the thing is, it's like, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, nor would I say it's a good thing. I guess you could say it's kind of like a combination of both, whatever. But this movie, because of how this character was, and if they make the character kind of the same way that they did in Captain America Civil War in his own movie, it's going to be highly enjoyable. It's going to make money. But the thing is that why does it have to be a superhero movie in order for a black character or just a black oriented movie to do well at the box office? And then there are movies that have been about black people that have done well, whatever. But if this movie does higher than any African American made movie or whatever, it's like, why does it have to be a superhero movie in order to do that? Now, I know a lot of people might be like, I'm the one to talk, because it's like a lot of these, I don't know, like I'm a person that I like what I like, and a lot of black films like the Tyler Perry films, and A Perfect Man, just stuff like that, I really don't like. I like action, adventure, sci-fi, horror. I like stuff like that. And sometimes dramas. I like that. I don't really get into comedies. There's nothing I'm going to rush out to see unless it looks like it's going to actually be good. Of course, I'll stay away from romance movies or whatever. But in a sense, it's like, I would support a black film if it looks good to me. Not just because, he's black, or this character is black, this person who wrote it was black, this person that directed it was black, blah, 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 and go see it. If I don't like the movie, I'm not going to like it. And that's not just, whatever. But I feel like it's kind of like a shame that it has to be a superhero movie in order for it to be mainstream, or as mainstream as this movie is going to be, and more than likely possibly do the numbers, like do great numbers for this movie. And but like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And when I say like it's not a good thing, it's just in the sense that it has to be a superhero movie, a black superhero movie, in order for it to actually do great numbers. And it shouldn't have to be that way. But I mean, I'm going to go see it regardless. I'm going to support it, especially with it being a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, an MCU movie. And just the character was so freaking awesome in Civil War. It just got me and like a lot of people pumped to see this movie. As well as like actors are constantly getting added to it. Michael B. Jordan just got added to the cast, which I have no problem with. He's a great actor. I love what he did in Creed. I ain't even gonna bring up Fantastic Four. I haven't seen Fruitvale Station, but I heard that he did a great job in there. And the same director who directed that movie as well as Creed with Michael B. Jordan in both of those films, he's directing Black Panther, which Michael B. Jordan is going to be in that movie as well. And so I'm just excited. You have great actors in there. Chadwick Boseman showed that with other films, showed that he's a great actor, but even with Captain America Civil War, showed with this character he does great. I want to see what Michael B. Jordan brings to the movie, because he is a great actor, and I want to see more from this character, or more from this actor, excuse me. And so, moving on, got a couple more things to talk about. One of the things I wanted to talk about was X-Men Apocalypse. Haven't seen it yet. I'm going to go see it next week, next Wednesday. So I hope it's good. I've heard little things about it. There have been reviews out. People have already seen it, whatever. And from what I hear, it's a good movie. I've heard that there are some, negative reviews out there. But mainly I've seen positive. Like, I'm going to keep combing through there to see what other people are saying about it. But, this movie essentially, to my ears or to my eyes or whatever, is getting a good review. So my thing about it is that I'm going to go see this movie. I just want it to be good. I literally, that's all I want. I want it to be good. I've never been too excited about a X-Men movie in my life. I say maybe the first film, because that was the first X-Men movie to come to the big screen. And maybe X-Men Origins Wolverine, because Wolverine is my favorite X-Men. So, my favorite member of the X-Men. And so, just the X-Men movies haven't really grabbed me like that, they have been good. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. They have been good. So, I'm not saying that they're bad or anything, but it's like I've been excited to see this movie, but it's not something where I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying to go see this movie. I wasn't as excited to see this as I was to see Batman v Superman, or as I was to see Captain America Civil War, or even Age of Ultron last year. So I'm just hoping that this movie is good. I want this movie to be good. I want it to be good. Especially with Apocalypse being a character that I wanted to see ever since the first X-Men movie came out. And I can't wait to see what they do with him. He looks different from what he did in the comic book. And I wish they would have kept that same design, but Oscar Isaacs is a great actor. So more than likely he brings that character to life. Hopefully. But yeah, I'm so curious. I just cannot wait to see this movie. My expectations on a scale of 1 to 10, 9 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's maybe about an 8. I say 7.5 to 8. I want to see this movie. I'm gonna go see it next week. I can't wait. you're gonna get my review. If I love it, hate it, in between, whatever. I just hope that it's a great movie. I hope that it is. Because Deadpool was good. I hope this is a great film. I hope it is. And moving on to the final topic that I have for this. I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible because I'm cutting close to an hour. But the last topic that I'm talking about is, it was announced recently, yesterday, that the next Transformers movie, which is Transformers 5, has an official title, which is going to be Transformers 5, The Last Night. Now, Transformers have been getting bashed. A lot of people love the first Transformers, but hated the second one, hated the third one, hated the fourth one. And I don't know, like, I really didn't have too many problems with it. I didn't really like the first one. I liked the second one. The third one was okay. The fourth one was okay. It was just too long. And so it was like, I don't know, like, Michael Bay needs to give this property over to someone else for them to direct. Because when you have a director on the same film franchise, first one, second one, third one, it's like, it gets unoriginal. You don't have anybody else to give it a new flavor. You don't have anyone else to take a different spin at it, to do something different with it. And Michael Bay, even though he's made this franchise billions of dollars, still, it's like it's being panned. Like, critically, these are bad movies, you know, and they're financially good, but critically, it's just people not liking them. I mean, the audience do like it. You know, you got people that do like these movies, and it's like, it's not terribly horrible or whatever, but it's like, he needs to get away from it. But as far as the title, I know I got away for a little bit, but as far as the title, I'm curious. I'm going to go see this movie. I'm going to go see it. Regardless how I feel, I'm going to go see it in hopes that it fucking blows me away. Hopefully. But yeah, The Last Night, I'm curious about that because I heard that Optimus Prime has like a lineage, or he could have belonged to, I don't know, like just I don't know, like he could have like a background of just order or something like that, you know, whatever. And I guess that's what it's alluding to as being called The Last Night, because he probably is a part of a lineage of knights on damn, what's their planet called? Whatever, on his old planet. But it's like, I want to see what it is. I want to know what that title means, The Last Night. I want to know. I'm very curious. Just to see if this movie is going to be good and what they're going to do with the story from here on. Because after the third one, we thought that was it. You know, we didn't have no more. And then they got a fourth one. And so they're expanding this movie. They're going on. You're going to have a fifth one. You're going to have a sixth. And we're going to have a seventh one. More than likely, we're going to have an 8, 9, 10. As long as this movie keep making money, they're going to constantly keep making these movies. But yeah, I mean, you know, The Last Night, I like it. I just want to fully understand what the hell it means, you know. So hopefully we get a synopsis sometime this year, which we're probably going to have it, you know, whatever. And it just kind of further explains somewhat of what The Last Night means and where this is going to take place. Is it going to take place on Earth? Is it going to take place on his home planet? Is it going to take place, you know, just somewhere else? Like, what's up with this movie? And so, with that said, that concludes everything that I have to talk about. I told you it was going to be lengthy. I kept it under an hour. I tried to give you all my thoughts. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I hope you did. I'd like to thank you guys for listening. This has been the second episode of the Take One podcast. And stay tuned for the next episode. I'm going to be putting out my spoiler review of Captain America Civil War. I know it's been late. I still haven't put out my regular review, but keep your eyes out for that. I'm going to put out my non-spoiler, and on my third podcast, I'm going to be putting out the spoiler reviews. So look out for both of those, as well as other things that I'm working on at this moment or whatnot. And go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Take One Entertainment Reviews. Check out my first episode of the Take One podcast. And give it a like, share it, let other people know. For right now, this is the only place that you can find it on my YouTube channel. I will give you updates later when I'm able to put it on other things like iTunes or whatnot. But for right now, find it on my YouTube channel. Once you subscribe, you will get updated as when a new episode pop up, or just my other videos. Check out. I got mini reviews, regular reviews, spoiler reviews, or whatever. But yeah, like I said, this has been the second episode of the Take One podcast. Thank you guys for listening, and hope to catch you guys later. Until next time, peace out.